All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Grind. We're here with UFC star, bantamweight, got upcoming fight against Pedro Munhoz, Jimmie Rivera. Jimmy, how excited are you for this upcoming bout, man?
Uh, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Pedro Munhoz it's a rematch, so I know he probably wants to get that L back, and I'm just looking forward to the fight because I love it. I like his style a lot and how he stays in the pocket. So I'm looking forward to fighting style like that.
Right. How does training look like against a guy like Munhoz compared to your past fights? Is it look any different, or is it you've obviously fought him before. Are you gonna look to emulate same things, or what's the differences?
Um, just have different game plans going in there and training. Really, just training with people that emulate him, so this way I could be prepared. And then having a few game plans going in, so I don't get stuck with just one and it doesn't work.
Right. Your last fight against Cody Stamann, obviously you got a big win. Um, it was at 145. Obviously circumstances were tough and everything, but is 145 something that you could potentially see yourself at, or do you think 35 is your home?
Um, I've actually contemplated 45 and maybe even doing both 45 and 35. Not making any real decision because I got this fight coming up and just focusing on that.
Right.
But I don't think 45 is out of the way. No reason for me not to fight at 45.
Of course. Your only losses, I mean, in recent history have been against the best guys at 135. I mean, Marlon Moraes, who fought for the title. You had Aljo, and then Piotr Jan, of course. I mean, do you feel like you still got to prove that you're the top dog, like you're still one of the elites at 135, or do you feel like your name's already there?
No, I'm not. I don't feel like I have to prove anything. I never feel like I have to prove anything. I just feel like I just go out there to fight because I like to fight. With that said, Sterling, I had a bad fight, just didn't show up, had a bad weight cut. But with other fights, I made mistakes. I made mistakes in the Marlon fight, and I made some stupid mistakes in the Jan fight, especially the Jan fight where, I was winning the first two rounds, and the third round could have went either way. And then the first two rounds, I just, got relaxed and got caught the last 10, 15 seconds. And I just blame it. I give it Jan's tough guy, but I blame it on myself. It's my fault that I got too relaxed at the end because I knew I was ahead and then got caught, flash knockdown, get back up and get fighting. I mean, it'd be different if I was knocked out and done, but quick little flash. So I realized, I got too lazy with it and always fight to the end of the bell, not to the last 10 seconds.
Of course. So Max Holloway recently, has obviously become popular for, not sparring, because of the quarantine. He's been doing like Zoom workouts and stuff like that. What's your experience been with sparring, and do you think that not sparring could be, obviously it's working for him, he's looked great in his last two fights. I mean, do you think not sparring or light sparring, what's your opinion on all that?
I think it all depends on the person. Some people need to spar, some people could just drill, and it also depends on the stylistic matchup. I was very surprised to see how much Cater didn't do in his fight. He's a well-known boxer. He's a pretty good boxer, and he didn't do much in the fight with his hands. And, I think the reach that Max had and the constant throwing in his face really threw him off. And it was nice to see Max back like that. I think Max felt like he had something to prove in that fight, too. It's all opinion at the end of the day. Some people don't spar like Cerrone, and some people spar all the time, and some people just drill. It's all preference. I like to do a little bit of everything. So do I have to spar every day? No, I don't spar every day. But once a week, I enjoy sparring once a week. I know COVID's a big thing, and it happens, but it is what it is.
So you find yourself, I mean, the 135 division, I would argue, is the most exciting division right now in the sport, and you're right in the middle of it. Do you feel like where does a win put you after this?
If I win the fight after this, probably another one or two more wins, and then get a title shot. It all depends on who I fight and how the performance is. That's really what it comes down to. So I can't say much more besides that. We'll have to wait and see, but it's also hard not, I don't want to look past this, but I don't know. Could always look forward and fighting, Frankie Edgar or Corey Sandhagen, whoever wins this fight, or even, Rob Font was mentioned. I would love to fight Aldo. That'd be an awesome fight to have him under my belt and fight him, and win or lose, still fighting a legend, which is awesome to share the octagon with him. So, not looking past it. If I had to pick someone, obviously it would be the winner of Sterling and Jan. But my second would be, I'd love to fight Aldo, or if Frankie wins, fight Frankie.
Right. So, you've been fighting in the UFC for, quite some time now. Just 2015, it doesn't seem like a super long time, but it has been, 6 years. And you're still 31, man. You still have so much ahead of you. You're physically in your prime. You've looked in great shape your last fights. And how do you feel like, what do you think separates you from the other guys at 135?
I think we're all tough. What separates us is just, I guess, our style and our experience. Besides that, I think that's really it. I think everybody that's in the UFC, or especially in top 15, are tough guys, and you give a lot and you dedicate a lot and sacrifice a lot to get just to the fight itself. So, that's it.
Yeah. Having fought both Aljo and Sterling, who do you think wins that matchup? Or how do you see it?
I don't know. If you know what, if Jan can stop the takedowns, Jan wins on the feet. But if Aljo can get him down, Aljo's winning.
Yeah, Aljo is a beast, man. When I watched that Sandhagen fight, it was so surprising to me, like how quick he was able to get that neck, man. It's insane.
Corey, I think one of the things he kind of opened up is Corey's a little slow starter, and he looked a little too relaxed. Corey, I couldn't believe how fast it went once it got on him, but. It is what it is. Then you saw Corey with Marlon, and you could tell, I think he's a little slow starter because as the round was going on, in the second round, he picked it up. So that happens. Some guys are slow starters. Look at Cerrone. He's always been. But when you get to the fourth, fifth round, I wouldn't want to, fight him in those rounds. Those are tough rounds.
Yeah. So who, if you had to pick anyone in 135 or 145, anyone in history of fighting as a dream matchup for you, who would it be?
If we're the same weight, I would probably say like St. Pierre.
Really?
Just be a dream match, yeah. Or Khabib.
Khabib, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be.
And that's if we were the same weight, but those guys are way bigger than I am.
Yeah. What do you think Khabib's gonna do? Do you think he's stayed? Do you think he's done?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe. I honestly wanted to see Chandler and Khabib really bad, and I was a little upset with Gaethje and even Dustin. Like they just didn't look themselves, and I think it shows mentally where you're at. So I think he got the best of them mentally because, Justin's an all-American wrestler and Dustin has good wrestling defense and he's got great boxing, and I really wanted to see that. But when you worry about the takedown the whole time, you don't focus on the things you should do offensively.
Yeah. It's happened a lot with guys that, have this wrestling pedigree, guys like Yoel Romero and guys like Justin Gaethje who they got to where they are from their wrestling, and it's crazy how they just kind of abandon it. It almost seems like it's a waste, When I was watching the Yoel fight with Adesanya, it was kind of like, it was weird not seeing Yoel even try to engage anything. Usually he'll try and at least try and get you down somehow, but he just wasn't. So do you think fighters kind of often fall in love with trying to throw hands? They forget, that their ground game is kind of what they should be focusing on?
Yeah, for sure. You see the UFC turns it on to like they want to see a knockout and they want to see a brawl. So that happens. That has a big factor in it. Some people don't fight to win. Some people fight for the bonus, how Gaethje was until recently. Man, it all depends how their mindsets are and what they're focusing on. If you're always trying to fight for the bonus, I don't know if you're going to almost guarantee you might have CTE when you get older. But it all depends. You got these fighters that are great. I think one of the biggest things to say is just take someone out of their comfort zone. If they're not good at boxing, stay with boxing. They're not good at kickboxing, do that. If they are a shitty wrestler, take them down. Take them out of their comfort zone where you can win. I think that's a pretty much explanatory game plan for anybody in general.
So you're 31. You're still obviously in your prime. But if you could go back and tell Jimmie Rivera in 2015 at the start of his UFC career, would you do anything differently, or are you proud of everything you've done?
Yeah, I would say for my 3 losses, keep my right hand higher. Don't get relaxed the last 10, 15 seconds of the round. And make sure you're down in weight. Not even down in weight. I was down in weight that fight. Make sure you recover from your weight cut. I did not sleep well before Sterling, and I just felt like I was out there, and people train before. If you ever trained before, when you go to training, you're just tired. You know what you have to do. You just can't get it out.
Yeah.
He couldn't take me down, but I got on top of him a couple times and just didn't do shit with it. So it's just a learning experience. Learned and understand, and that's it.
Yeah. What is the you mentioned, stay down and weight, and even though fighters make the weight, and if they're able to fight no, you're all good. Even if the guys are able to make weight, do you feel like fighting at a more natural weight is more beneficial, or do you think it again depends on the fighter?
I think fighting at a natural weight is more beneficial. It'd be great if we could do like day of weigh-ins, because that would be the ultimate goal. Like, people wouldn't have to cut weight. Everything would be a lot healthier.
Right.
And you would see a lot of people move up. You see some people move up even 2 weight classes if we did same day weigh-ins.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's important. Is it going to happen? I don't think so, because it's so much part of the sport of fighting the day before. But that would be awesome if we could do that.
Yeah. I know one in Singapore, they do that, right? Don't they do like the morning of weigh-ins?
No, they do your body fat percentage.
Oh, gotcha.
So there's only a certain amount of weight you can lose, as far as I know. And if you don't lose that weight, if you can't get down to whatever weight class, but obviously there's always exceptions and stuff like that. But you still cut weight and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's what they do. Same thing like wrestling. Wrestling, you did body fat. I mean, this is my senior year or junior year, we started doing that, where it's all about body fat percentage.
Right. You mentioned guys that would go up a couple weight classes if they did that. I always say, like, Darren Till, when he fought at 70, obviously that was a super difficult cut, and it's insane. Like, when I see him at even 85, he looks like a heavyweight. He is so large, it's insane. I don't know how some guys make it. It's really crazy, and
it all depends on body type too. It depends on body type. Like, some guys I know someone that could lose. I've lost, I think, the most 25 pounds, but they can hold a lot of water because of their physique, and that happens. So if you have someone that can hold a lot of water, that helps you a lot in the weight cut.
Yeah. All right, man. My last question: who do you think the GOAT is? I know you mentioned GSP. You want to fight? I know you're missing Khabib. Either those guys?
I would have Khabib a second. I think still one of the GOATs is GSP, and the only reason why was that, like, I feel like, nothing against him, but he was just such a hard worker. He wasn't super talented and everything. He just worked hard to get good at stuff, and he was able to beat a lot of people. I don't think you have to be undefeated to be a GOAT. I think he's up there. I think Khabib's up there, and then I think obviously Demetrius Johnson's up there. Right. I think those 3 guys are definitely people that have been in the division, reigned it, and did awesome. Right. And I gotta say the same thing with Aldo. It's the same way too, because it's not like he won 5 or 6 fights in a row, which, like, I think Max did, 6 or 7 title defense. Like, he defended for like a decade his belt at 35. You have to give it to him. It's just, as you get older, there's always going to be a younger guy there, and that's just the way it is, And at a certain point, you just got to realize and let go. And, if you want to keep doing it, great. I think Aldo, if he didn't have to cut so much weight, he would have won that fight against Peter Yan. But since he was coming down from a lot of weight, I think that had a factor in it, because he slowed down and got tired. And it's different from a 3-round and 5-round fight. But, I think that those are like my top 5. I would have to say those guys that reigned in the division did really well.
Yeah, man. People forget about Demetrius Johnson
all the time.
Yeah, that man. I mean, it was crazy what he did too. I mean,
he did.
Yeah, the only reason I think people just count him out is because obviously the resumes that guys like GSP, John Jones, Khabib have are just like higher, bigger names, you know. But Demetrius Johnson was able to get it done, man, at 125. So.
And not only that, I mean, that fight with him and Cejudo could have went either way.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't have Cejudo winning the fight. You know what I mean? I think I had it 3-2.
Yeah, me too.
Cejudo did great with those inside trips, but
yeah.
I don't think I had him winning.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and
no problem, man.
We obviously wish you the best against Pedro Munhoz. Hopefully you can get a win, another win, get that title shot, man, get that belt, baby.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.